MIME type info installed. Otherwise, nothing will load into your page. It happens like once a month or twice to people. Okay, then I'm going to ask a question. What was the biggest... Please go ahead. I think he was first, to be honest.
I wonder how do you handle HTTPS and do you have the handle the FTP or other protocol?
This is the nice thing. There are two things. First of all, if you do encryption in the US, you have problems with export. So once you become a committer to WebKit, you have to sign an agreement that you're never adding encryption code to WebKit. So we don't have HTTPS support in WebKit, but we solely rely on the base library to support it. So in this case, in WebKitGTK, we use soup, and for every request we make, we export the soup handle to the higher levels. And soup needs to handle HTTPS and provide callbacks about the certificates and other things. So it's done by the base library. Please go ahead.
Hello, I would like to ask similar questions. Is there any advantage to use libsoup? Because there are many existing HTTP libraries, and some of them can support more protocols, such as CURL library. So, is there any advantage to use this?
At the beginning, we have used curl inside WebKitGTK, but the one reason is we never had good integration with the event loop with curl, so we had to add a timer that we poll curl every 100 milliseconds. So by using libsoup, we do have glib event loop integration. So we get immediately called if there are data in the socket. So by using libsoup, we have better integration with GTK and glib.
还有人醒着吗？还有问题要问吗？
Yeah, behind you.
I have a question about the JavaScript engine. I know you have to tell us there is a JavaScript engine in the WebKit, but is there any definition of interface about JavaScript key that JavaScript engine so we can change to other script engine?
You want to change the JavaScript engine?
Yeah, is there any standard interface?
Like everything inside WebCore is pretty much in flux, so there's not going to be a stable interface. But of course, Google managed to hook up their V8 into WebKit. So there is some kind of abstraction between the JavaScript engine and the WebCore things, but it's going to change every day, so there's nothing stable.
Okay.
At some point there were patches for WebKitGTK to make use of V8, but they were not merged because nobody wanted to maintain them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have one question. I have 1 minute left. So how many of you have worked on a project with like 1,000 lines of code? None of you? No, at least 1,000 lines of code. 10,000? Should I go logarithmic? 100,000? Millions lines of codes? No? Nobody works on Linux kernel here, or? One? Yeah. So I assume you're all software engineers to some degree, right? So what is the biggest project or open source project you have worked on? Anything big? Sorry, stupid question then. Okay, then I have no more questions.
如果没有其他问题，是不是表示说大家想要放出去吃甜点的这样子？
Please go ahead.
I got another question. It's also about the network protocols because as I know, some GIO modules, the GVFS1 can support some additional protocols. So maybe you can consider implement the FTP support with it. Yeah.
Yes, we could.
Is there any plan for this?
Well, no plan from my side, but sometimes I go to FTP and I'm annoyed that it doesn't work in Epiphany. So the place where it could be changed is, we do check for FTP support, but it doesn't work. So
Yeah, that doesn't work. We are working on what you said. So we are working on making libsoup handle different types of protocols internally. So you can tell libsoup what to do with FTP or whatever you want. So we are working on it.
as soon as possible.
Soon.
Please.
Sorry, I got another question because I'm curious about the performance of libsoup and the WebKitGTK implementation because from my experience, sometimes GIO and something libsoup or some glib integration with its main loop can be slower sometimes. Since you mix the network transportation with the GUI main thread, it can make things slower. Or you handle this with multi-threading.
I think soup internally is using threads, or no, only DNS lookups and threads. Nothing, but I see many threads being created in GDB. That's WebKit.
There is I just checked // There's a comparison of performance between Firefox 4 Alpha 2, I think, and Conqueror using WebKit. I didn't read, but it seems actually it runs faster than Firefox. I don't know if you have internet. You can go online and check. The thing is on /. today, so you'll see WebKit is not that bad after all.
Well, it depends on the platform integration.
Yeah.
In general, if you do things multi-threaded, you need to have locking and you need to dispatch jobs to threads, and it's in most cases a lot of overhead and a lot of work to get it right. And so far, I have not seen that we run into a bottleneck with soup and message or in loading things, because soup is doing everything asynchronous. So if there's nothing from the socket, soup will not be doing anything, and if there's data, we directly read it and send it into WebCore, which is certainly faster than dispatching it to a different thread. But if you have a specific benchmark where you think soup is the problem of download speeds, then we can certainly look at it.
嗯哼，没有问题了吗？再思考一下。如果没有的话，那我们要感谢一下讲师。好，这时候中文想说英英场景打下英文的，好，谢谢讲师。那接下来呢，有一段休息的时间。再来我们是3点半的议程，由 Muller 要来做讲解的动作。